Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, the Dennis and Andy Show. We're here live from Charlotte, North Carolina. We are early because we're stepping on the graybeards. Just kidding. We know everybody watches our show because we're more fun and entertaining. Aaron, he's grumpy. Tell him I said that. My daughter works till 5, so I have to pick her up. That's why we're rolling early today. We're going to have a fun day talking about the 90s. Full disclosure, not an original idea. I listened to Rob Liefeld's podcast, Robservations. He did a few episodes about the 90s, and I was like, I remember the 90s. Why not reminisce a little here as well?
Because, you know, the 90s really were some of the great stories.
Lady Death.
And
X-Force.
Yeah, but save that for the show. What are you doing?
Oh, I thought that was it. Okay.
No, guys, some of the greatest stories that were in there, but almost the downfall of comics with your 6 million different variants that you had to do and all your different flashy covers and everything that everybody collected. Everybody started collecting it. And so it had some high points and some low points. But we definitely wanted to discuss the 90s comics. But Andy and I could do that, and we said to ourselves, do we really just want to sit here and talk about it, or do we want to bring somebody else in?
And we said, we're going to bring somebody else in because that's how we roll.
And since nobody else was available, we got Rob Hunter.
That's right. I wasn't going to put it that way. I was going to say we got Rob Hunter because he's a genius when it comes to 90s comics. Yeah. But Dennis decided to throw down some shade on Mr. Rob Hunter.
Really, we did. We all lived through the 90s.
Oh, look at that. Sibling Vaughn. Chris Claremont will be at Baltimore Comic-Con. Dennis,
nice.
You could go and relive that magical moment where you sat on his lap as a youngster.
Never happened.
And he signed one of your X-Men books.
Yep.
And now you can sit on his lap as a grown. Or maybe Chris can sit on your lap because you're bigger than Chris.
I was going to say I am bigger than Chris. I could be like Santa Claus.
I sat across from Chris at MegaCon one year. It was great. Chris's line would just fill up in front of his table, kind of stretch over towards my table, and then the line would wrap over in front of my table. So
that's right. And you were sitting there going, while you're waiting for Chris, buy this stuff.
That's right.
And they would just look at me with a sneer. Like,
that's right.
Who are you? I'm like, I got a name tag on. It's me. It's Rob.
But yeah, we are talking 90. Can I show stuff now?
Yeah, see, now that Rob has joined us,
yeah, but see now
you can kind of join us.
But now I have to do it like this so people can see him nice and big. Let's see.
Oh,
here we go.
Wow,
X-Force.
Anyway.
Now I did not pull out the actual #1 that I own because it's worth tons of money. So I pulled out the True Believers.
Oh.
Little Lady Death, rocking it, fighting Vampirella.
Wait, I have a question. What's True Believers?
True Believers is the dollar book Marvel did.
Yeah, they reprinted them for $1. So if you didn't want to, you could reread them and have a readable copy for $1. And now they're doing facsimile editions so they can charge you more. Or today's latest one was Spider-Man 300.
$7.
$6.99.
Well, X-Force #1. I love that book, but you could probably get it for 50 cents in the dollar box.
They are in the dollar bins, yeah.
Unless isn't the Deadpool card worth more though?
Yes, it's $2.
Oh, it's $2. Cyblade She with the first appearance of Witchblade.
I've
got 3 of these, believe it or not. 2 are bagged and boarded. One's on my spin rack.
Nerd.
Youngblood #1 for $1, even though I have 2 of the first ones that you can also probably still buy for $1.
Yep.
Spawn #1.
Got it.
Costs more than $1, but this one only costs $1. Hold on, this one deserves the full Monty.
Oh.
And when I mean full Monty, you'll know what I mean.
Oh, you did bring the gate one because I had pulled that one.
Oh shit! I've got this.
Man.
I've got the individual covers. Oh hell yeah! This is a spin rack copy.
So good, so good.
They just did a facility edition of this.
Why? Because there's literally
these are dollar boxes everywhere.
8.1 to 8.2 million copies were produced of the original run between the 5 covers. It was like 8.16 million or something like that. The most of any comic that ever sold. Guys, why would you need to reprint something when there is so many of them out there? There's a running joke, and a lot of people have said it. You know, if everybody who owned one brought it to a shredder at a convention, it one day might be worth some money.
That's right.
But it was a great comic.
Yeah, 81 copies for every comic book fan.
Little DC love. Superman 75, The Death of Superman.
So these are all great things, but they all had stories behind them, which is what made everything special. Yeah. So, you know, the X-Men, look,
damn.
Is that
this
issue
book,
2?
real quick before you go on. This is not even on my spin rack because then I'd have to find it. It's actually next to my desk where I can easily just, you know, take it out and look at it. This book just screams fun. Every fucking page of this book, excuse my language, I don't like to cuss, but this book is just fucking fun. Damn it, I want comics like this.
It's the exact opposite of Marvel
everybody
and DC.
Can see. Guys,
exact
because
opposite.
4 of those were individual covers. They put them all together. That's the picture.
But
and
it's not the whole picture.
That's all that's
up. Magneto? How could you?
I know that is the way the picture is. It's not like I am cropping it. The picture was cropped. But still, when you get to see this, everything about this was amazing. It was an homage to X-Men #1.
Hojo. Dennis owns that, and so do I. We also own that.
Yep, and they also have, because I'll bring that one up in a minute. They actually have for those real collectors, which I couldn't get at the time. They made a platinum edition Black Polymer.
Really?
Polymer. Yes.
What's inside that?
That one's worth. It's platinum edition, which means it was the different variant of it, and it's worth a shit ton. So,
but it's still in the black bag, right?
A different black bag because it actually says platinum edition right at the bottom.
I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
So
it's probably like a retailer incentive.
I do not have a platinum edition. No. I do have multiple of the Death of Superman, which.
So do stores.
Well, you know what? They're actually, I hate to say it, they are actually going up in value right now. You are now finding them for about $25 a pop.
Polybag, not raw,
yep.
Like I have. Like I've got the polybag one too.
Yeah.
And Dennis is right; those are actually going up some. But the one that I showed that is just, you know, it might have been bagged when I bought it. I don't remember, but you know, it's not anymore. That's not worth anything.
The Death of Superman. That was the big story, really, of the 90s, that they would kill off their flagship character. It really was a fun read and everything like that. I mean, we all knew they were going to bring back Superman because you just couldn't kill him off and stay dead. But they actually kept him dead for a little while anyway. Then we did Funeral for a Friend, and and then we got all the re-advent of the other Supermans, which were either hit or miss. Some people like Steel, so be it. But man, that was good 90s stuff.
Rob Liefeld says that comic book stores were able to absorb the Death of Superman issue, but it was the Return of Superman. Those books are which.
Oh, did you listen to that podcast? Yeah. So did I.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they DC suckered a bunch of stores into buying, like, oh, you missed the boat on Death of Superman, but then all the new Supermen that are coming out, you better get on board. So,
See, that's awesome.
I mean, that was probably part of it. I mean, I'll default to Rob because Rob is super knowledgeable about all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the only thing, though. Variant covers.
No.
I mean, but guys, the book that set the 90s on fire, I'll show you. It's that one. I mean, that really set the 90s on fire right there. If you're lucky, you might see me at a convention and get me to sign that sucker for you. Holographic cover. Rob, that's the one that really blew your little mind when you were buying books. I know it. You told me when we first met, you knelt down at the altar of Andy Smith and kissed my ring. You're like, you did Quasar 50? I said I did, Rob. Now, please take my balls out of your mouth.
And then Mark Alessi said, that's Andy Smith, not Bart Sears. And I'm like, who's Andy Smith?
Oh, what?
Sorry, dude.
You wait till he's in a movie and that book skyrockets. Everybody's going to want to line up.
They should just do a movie just based on that one issue.
Well,
I mean, seriously, if they can do, The Last Voyage of the Demeter based on one chapter of a book, I mean, they could do an entire comic book with one movie.
Marvel will take the whole run that Andy did on Quasar. They'll make it into this super cool movie, and it'll make $1 billion. And Andy will get a check for $6,000, and maybe be invited to the red carpet.
And I would happily go and cash that check.
Exactly.
Now I can tell you this: if it was an either we pay your way, red carpet, or $5,000, I'd be like, "F that movie, shoot that check over."
All right, guys. Another classic, huge moment. Once again, DC Comics, Batman Nightfall, Bane breaking Batman's back after beating him to hell for the first 10 issues of this crossover.
Wow.
That was some goodness.
Now, did you read any of this stuff, Rob? Did you read any Batman back then or no?
No, I was only following like Marvel and X-Men stuff. So I didn't know any of this Batman stuff. So
no DC at all, huh?
Was there anybody at DC that was doing cool stuff? I think I noticed Bart on Justice League Europe during the 90s. But
no, that was before that. Well, no. Yeah, I guess that went into the 90s for a little bit. You're right. It wasn't that far into the 90s, but it went into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I picked up because I was a teenage collector, so I chased after like the Death of Robin issues, but especially that stuff, the Bane stuff. I never followed Bane. It was all like Keone Hulk. It was Ghost Rider. It was Jim Lee on Punisher, and then Jim Lee on Uncanny X-Men, and then obviously the X-Men. It was Rob Liefeld on New Mutants. I didn't even know who the Todd McFarlane was until a buddy of mine said, "Hey, he did this Hulk stuff." Yeah, I didn't follow Todd McFarlane either until Spider-Man.
The Death of Superman, he says, actually broke across cultures. The Normie News covered it. SNL, they did, and I remember a buddy of mine, a few of my friends went in on and owned a comic shop in Orlando where I was living at the time. And when Death of Superman came out, one of the guys, a buddy of mine named Doug, that was co-owner of the shop, went on to the local news, morning news, and he's like, "You want to go down there with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go to see behind the scenes." We had to get there at like 4:30 a.m. and stuff, but I mean, it was. I mean, dude, remember, and you probably remember this too. Well, what was it? QVC, Home Shopping Network, was selling comics and shit.
Yeah, they were the signed ones, and they had the guys sitting there showing everything. It was awesome.
Oh, look at this. Travis Perrick. Who's Andy Smith? He's Bart Sears' younger brother. Well, I am younger. So one of us is going to have a 6 in front of their age for the first time this year, and it ain't this guy. So thank you for the $2, by the way.
Andy, you're already 60, right?
No, you son of a bitch. What's this bullshit about you were a teenager in their 90s? You're not that much younger than me.
No. I graduated in 89. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
so, right. Yeah.
So what books sparked it for you in the 90s?
Like a buddy of mine showed me the some of the McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man and the Hulk, so I would chase after the Amazing Spider-Man with McFarlane. It really was. It was Jim Lee. It was Uncanny X-Men. It was Rob Liefeld on New Mutants. It was all the mutant books that were. It was Weiss on X Factor. It really. I was that typical kid who was buying the mutant stuff with all the mutant artists, Liefeld and Jim Lee and Portasio. That's really what I remember. Is that I remember the Punisher stuff because I was a big fan of Punisher and like Zach's miniseries.
Now that's not 90s.
Punisher War Journal was.
Punisher
War Journal, yeah. But then,
Yeah.
you have to chase down the miniseries if you get Punisher series.
Oh, yeah.
War Journal. So because I was a collector at the time, so then I'm chasing after stuff like the miniseries.
Now, well, actually, here's a question. I actually don't know the answer to this. Out of all the amount of times we've talked, do you still own any of the X books and stuff from then that you bought back then, or have you gotten rid of all that, or what?
I own the Jim Lee stuff because, like, I had like 6 copies of like 272 or 273. You know the Uncanny X-Men issue where it's like Wolverine, Cable, Storm, all standing really cool on the cover. I had like multiple copies of that.
Wait. You mean Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow? That one?
No, that's 268.
Wolverine, Cable, and Storm by Jim Lee?
Yeah. That's like 272. And then 275, I own a couple copies of 275. 275 is the double-sized. It's the big Shi'ar story.
Yeah.
Dude,
I still have all those that I bought back in the day, so.
Yeah. And even like during the cross-gen days, maybe I had to chase down, I didn't know where my 271 went to, so I'd buy 271 again. But I chased down all that stuff. Now, the Liefeld stuff, I just got the trade paperback, the big Cable New Mutants trade paperback, because I didn't have any of that. Yeah, I didn't have any of that stuff anymore, because when I was maybe 22 or something, I sold most of my comics.
There it is. You're right.
Go. Yeah. 272. One of the I liked X-Force, and I was working. I got into the business. I don't know when probably doesn't say in this because this is a reprint. But what year did X-Force #1 actually come out?
It had to be 91 or 92.
Yeah, probably 92, right? Because X-Force came out, and then Youngblood was already being advertised.
I think first.
Well, no, 92 was because 92 Image started because they had their 30th last year. But so it had to be, I guess, 91.
New Mutants 98, which was the first Deadpool, and then there was only 2, and then they went into X-Force. That was 91.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At least I think.
And Liefeld even talked about how he got a very angry phone call because Youngblood 1 was being advertised, and X-Force 1 had just come out.
Well, that's if I remember right, Rob, you can tell me that's before it was actually with Image, though. That was an ad for just Malibu, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, because the first couple issues of Image was Image Malibu, like they had that weird icon or whatever. So, yep. And I learned today, dude, that Brigade #1 sold more than Youngblood #1.
I know, dude. I heard that. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Brigade sold more than Youngblood?
Yeah, or Rob. Dude, I tell you what, I will plug it because it is a great podcast, and it's only twice a week. Rob Liefeld's podcast is freaking awesome. Brigade #1 sold more than Youngblood.
I like Brigade, but I wouldn't have figured that.
Nope.
I would like to think that if I made as much money as Rob Liefeld, that I would be as positive about comic books. I don't know if I would, because I'd be like, I made so much money and now I have to draw.
See, I disagree with Joe on this. I didn't mind Hawk and Dove, but if so Dan Fraga and I were talking about this, and this is something we can bring up too, is the peak everybody has, you know, artists where they think to themselves, this was my favorite period of so-and-so's work.
Yeah.
And for me, for Rob, it's definitely the 90s. You know, he might not enjoy hearing that, but honestly, somebody could say, you know, they thought my peak period was cross-gen or whatever. And I might disagree, but for me, it really was the 90s. You know, I still enjoy Rob's work, but I just love, you know, X-Force, early Young Bloods, that stuff.
It was great. I mean, I did, and I know he takes a lot of crap for feet and stuff like that, but he did so many cool things and a lot of tropes. But it was so different and unique that it was hard not to like it. Just like when Todd did Spider-Man, and you know, when he came up with the new style of webs, and you either loved it or you didn't, but I think most people did.
Well, and see, the thing is, like, I was working, you know, now I was only in the business for a year or two at the time when, you know, X-Force and all that stuff came out and Rob was really blowing up. And I can remember talking to other people in the business saying, yeah, I don't mind Rob's stuff. I kind of dig it. And they're like, oh, you can't draw and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but it's just fun looking.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
This is like sugary, sweet food that's not good for you, you know? And you've got to be able to look at it from the viewpoint of the person buying it, which at the time, unlike now, but back then it was like kids, 12-year-old kids and stuff, you know? And I'm not saying every book should look like this. And that actually moves on to other problems with the 90s is, and with Marvel and stuff is, once it took off, they're like, ooh, Mark Pacella, draw like that, you know?
And you could tell he didn't want to draw like that. You could tell, man. That was so haggard. It was so weird. His version of Liefeld was.
But you got that type of art, and then like I had popped up there, and then you got something like Kingdom Come, which was a huge event. It was fantastic. It was really different. And when you get artwork like Alex Ross, I mean, I couldn't wait to go pick up. And I didn't care that it was a very expensive comic book back then because it was worth every freaking penny. Kingdom Come was an awesome, just cool, really cool Sun, just like Red Sun. And it was another one that they did, another Elseworlds.
I think Red Sun was 2000s, wasn't it?
I would say if it was the end of the 90s, but it was another really cool one along those lines. I love the artwork. I love the style. But I mean, that just brought Alex Ross to really, not that everybody didn't love him and know him, but that was just an amazing feat.
Wasn't Kingdom Come directly what he did after Marvels? Or was there something
after he left? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yes.
I think that's what he did when he went to DC.
Right. That's what I'm saying, which is weird because Kingdom Come is what I think a lot of people, when they think of Alex Ross, think of.
Kingdom Come.
Right. And not Marvels, but Marvels was really good.
It was.
I've never seen it. I never looked at it because I have Kingdom Come. So
yeah, but I mean, you know, if you like Kingdom Come, it's a totally different story. But Marvels is good just because it's from that reporter's vantage point and stuff. And it was the first thing. I mean, not technically the first, but first big thing where it's like, wow, these heroes are all depicted realistically, which, you know, a lot of artists that do that, I'm not a huge fan of because it's stiff and whatnot. But Alex can really, it just works.
Well, my wife likes to describe Alex Ross as it's real, but it's not. It looks real, but it's not. I'm like, it looks real through the eyes of someone who remembers the 50s and 60s. Because everything has that 50s and 60s kind of feel. The guys and everything. It just feels old.
Mighty Geek says, Andy, are you going to do a reprint of my drawing book, Drawing Dynamic Comics? So it came out in 2000. So 2025 would be the 25th anniversary. So I have time and I have rolled around the idea because I got the rights back to it to where I can print it of maybe crowdfunding it and adding pages to make it like 196 pages instead of 144. So add new content for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, add some of the computer stuff, Andy.
But
that might be a good idea.
yeah, but at the same
yeah.
time, I'm like, is a crowd fund for a drawing book, even though it's 25th anniversary, is it really going to do well? Like, is it really? I don't know. And there really isn't a way to gauge it unless you do it. So it's really a gamble because, yeah, on one hand, it could do fantastic, but on the other hand, it could be like, oh, I got 100 backers because it's just a how to draw book.
What if you do a combo, like you split it up into 2 books?
Everything, AJ, you missed everything.
That's what I was going to say. Y'all
like
always miss
sketchbooks,
everything.
Andy. What if you kind of you make it a double package, and one of them is more about your sketches and your commissions?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I would definitely do something else to it as well. I like I said, it's not till 2025 for the 25th anniversary. Mm-hmm. So honestly, I could do a crowd fund at the end of 2024. I could do a crowd fund in January of 2025 with the delivery date of November 2025, and it would still come out in the anniversary year. So I got time to think about it. I've made some notes, so we'll see.
I want to say one thing about Liefeld and defending Liefeld is, if you're a kid, if you're a teenager and you looked at his New Mutant stuff or his X-Force stuff, and you looked at that, if you just flip through it, and then you looked at, like, for instance, some of the guys that always complain, like John Byrne always complained, and you flip through like John Byrne's Superman, and you see like the 4 pages of it's Clark Kent at the Daily Planet talking to Lois. What's a teenager gonna jump to? Clark Kent talking to Lois about whatever, or freaking Cable saying they're gonna kill us. They're gonna kill us. Everyone's after us. That's, to me, that is what it boils down to. The 90s, the mutants. The mutants always felt everybody wanted to kill them, and that made every book exciting. Versus all the other books that weren't mutants. You're just like, who cares, man? Everybody wants to kill the X-Men, whether it's the government, whether it's the bad guys. Versus, oh, look, it's Clark Kent's getting bitched out because he's not a very good reporter or whatever. Who cares?
Right.
So what? You know?
Well, I mean, the X-Men in the 80s and 90s were in their heyday. They really were. Yeah. The writing was phenomenal. The storylines, the artwork. I mean, there's always a few misses in series and stuff, but really, that was some of their best their best stuff. I mean, it was just constantly good. And all those, the fall of mutants, and start thinking of all the storylines that they had, the Executioners, and all of that great stuff, and got into Inferno, and it was just such good stuff.
It's a perfect scenario where you have a book that sells really well, so you can look at your entire talent pool of the comic industry and just make phone calls and say, that guy is doing some amazing stuff. I know he's going to do a run on Wolverine. He's not going to say no to Wolverine or Uncanny X-Men or whatever, because it's going to pay him so much more than whatever. Versus today's comics. Today's comics can't do that. People are like, well, am I even going to see a royalty check if I do Wolverine? Now, they'll think about maybe they'll be able to sell the pages if something actually happens in Wolverine. But you can't do that. You can't suck in all the best talent for your top tier books the way they used to be able to.
Well, not only that, but a lot of today, what's up, dudes? Just picked up Quasar 50. Now you got it, my man. You got it. I keep telling him if he wants his signed, all he has to do is bring it over.
You know what? I'll do it on a live stream one of these days just to make everybody happy.
And I'll slap some
I'll even crack open the slabbed one that I have. That I had
have
slabbed.
A slabbed one.
No, I do have the one that we slabbed online.
Oh, that one. The resealable one.
Yes. I will undo it just so I can have you sign it. I'll go blow on it, dry it off, and then I'll put it right back.
Excuse me? You're going to do what?
He's going to blow Quasar 50.
You know what?
Keep it clean, Dennis.
This is the problem. You are just like Andy. That's where your mind is.
All we need is Dan Fraga, and boy,
I know. I already told Dan. It's like when we're talking, it's like if I say anything, I can immediately see Dan and Andy's heads go, whoop, and it's like a hive mind. They're communicating. It's like the board.
Heads.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
It lets the thought waves go out when you have no.
But I wanted to at least talk, because we want to talk about some cool stuff from the 90s. Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, obviously, we saw the great stuff come to the big screen, but it was the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity War, guys. This was another awesome series that came out. And I mean, almost everybody I know. What did it say? Confirmed? Oh,
I know. That's cute.
That is so cute.
Even I have a Quasar 50 signed by Andy Smith.
I don't think that's true, but you know.
No, I do. Dude, remember when I ran around CrossGen and got like you and Jeff signed?
Oh, did you get Jeff to sign Wonder Man #1?
Yeah. And yeah, you signed Quasar 50. I think I had Bart sign something. I can't remember though. I'm pretty sure, because I just flipped through the box that has that stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about all this CrossGen stuff. All this when I got stuff signed from CrossGen days.
That's cool. So Image takes off. I didn't buy all the #1s. I got Youngblood, Cyberforce, Wildcats, Savage Dragon, Wetworks. I got to admit, I didn't get Shadowhawk.
Me neither.
I never got into Valentino stuff, even when he was doing was it Guardians of the Galaxy at Marvel?
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful.
Yeah,
I heard he's a nice guy, but
yeah, I heard he is too. I've never met the man.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get into Shadowhawk.
No. He did do the layouts for What If Wolverine Was an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. that Liefeld penciled in Scott Williams inked. So so he can. I think he's a better storyteller than he is finisher of his pencils.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, look, if you can do good layouts, then more power to you.
And Spawn. I mean, 92 when that came out. I mean, again, it was just. I bet almost everybody I know had more than one issue of Spawn #1.
Yeah, but that's going up again.
I know it is, man. I remember I had 10 copies. I never bought multiple copies, but I love that book so much that I went out and bought another one, and then I would go somewhere and I'd be like, there's another one. All right, I'll grab it. I had 10 copies back in the day, and I don't know why. There was just something so amazing about the artwork and what he created there. It was just so cool.
Look at that. You and Joe Bernardo have a mutual friend.
That's not a mutual friend, Joe.
Joe, you have more than one mutual friend with Rob because of us. You've got, literally, seriously, dude, we're right here. right here. Yeah, I mean, Joe, you could say, Rob, you and I have mutual friends, Dennis and Andy. No. Instead, you go with some guy I've never heard of. So.
Yeah.
I know who that is, but still, it's Rob's best.
I'm trying my best not to talk shit. So
there you go. That Indiegogo is going swimmingly from what I've seen. Anyhow, if that's who I'm thinking of. So anyhow, back to the 90s. I'm trying to think. There was just so much. It just seemed so fun. And don't get me wrong, it's not that there's not good artists at Marvel and DC now, because there are. It's Pepe Larraz, who's doing stuff with Mark Miller, but he still works for Marvel. His stuff is great. Jorge Jimenez, his stuff is awesome. He works for DC.
Aren't those both computer guys?
Right, but that's what I was going to get to. Even like you brought up, there's not really royalties anymore. So people could go, well, at least I can
sell art.
At least I can sell my original art. But these guys are literally like, well, I'll just cut my legs out from under me. Now, I don't sell my art, so I don't really care. But these guys can. I mean, they can. They can do this BS. And I don't know if either of these guys do this. So I'm not speaking of Pepe or Jorge specifically. Mm-hmm. But some guys will be like, well, I'll make a one-off print on very nice paper. And then I'll put that little crank stamp in the corner of it to show that's an original. And without mentioning the guy's name, this was like 3 years ago, there was a page from a book. Dennis really liked it. It was from an X book. It had his favorite character, Jean Grey. It was a splash page of her literally sitting on top of the hood of his favorite car, a
1977
Trans
Am with T-tops.
Firebird.
Oh yeah.
The artist is like, he's in
Italy.
Yeah, he's from Italy. And he's like, I don't do originals. I only do digital. But if you want, I can do the one-off, very nice print on nice paper and crimp it. Oh, great. How much? $700.
$750.
I don't think
so.
so.
In the United States. I was like, wait, what? Now, if that was an original piece of art, I would be like, okay, we can talk.
That splash page, yeah. But $750 for a freaking print? No.
Yeah, part of the idea is when you buy original art, it's the love and the sweat and your tears going to every page. When it's just a print, you're just like, and so this year he has this exclusive. This is the only one print. Next year he has a better paper exclusive. This is the only print.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of like, and I still think. And, who knows if he does that. But, Bob Layton, for instance, one every year, he does a cover recreation of the famous Iron Man cover where he's looking in the mirror and he's drunk, hungover. It's Tony Stark's close up. He does one of those a year, But that's still original art. It's a recreation, but he only does one a year. So while who knows how long he's been doing it, let's say 10 years, there might be 10 of them out there besides the actual original, which is the real money maker. Could somebody resell that recreation? Sure. But they're not going to get even 10% of what the real cover would sell for.
Yeah. That's a super famous cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think of 80s and 90s,
the original art is cool. I am one of the guys. I'm putting one together. I got one of the.
I don't remember his name.
The proofs of, the transparency proofs. When they would do a page, they would do the finals. They marry the balloons with the colors and everything like that. Put them together. I love transparencies. The proofs on there. I get a few of them. I'm putting together. I think it's page 18 from X-Men 59. Neil Adams. I picked one of those up. And I love that type of stuff. Not everybody does. And, some people are like, oh, well, you can recreate those. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you can. But these were prints. So we were talking X-Men. So, another awesome storyline from the 90s, the Age of Apocalypse. Again, I mean, the X-Men really were the big dogs. For Marvel, really, I think they outshined a lot of the DC stuff. X-Men were it for the 90s. They had that phenomenal cartoon, which I guarantee when Rob gets back on, he has seen. But I absolutely love that. The Age of Apocalypse was a fun storyline. And yes, there were a lot of books to collect and everything like that, but still.
Well, you had great art. You had, in the 90s, it was Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Whilce Portacio. Then after Image, it was Andy Kubert, Joe Madureira, Chris Pacello. I'm trying to think of the other guy. Carlos Pacheco, on the X books. I mean, you have Mike Rowingo doing the Spider-Man stuff. The talent in the 90s, present company included, was phenomenal. And it was you just looked at the stuff and you're like, these are comic books. And I think one of the things with the new stuff coming out, even with the advancements in color, is they just almost don't look like they're for kids anymore. You know what I mean?
It's
like
not.
You look at an Archie comic, and even though they've done various books with different artists, like Adam Hughes did the Betty and Veronica miniseries, right? Obviously not Archie when you think Archie, but their main line that they put out still looks like their original Archie style from back in the day, and you think that's a comic. But some of the stuff, and it is a catch-22 because I like some of the stuff that comes out, but at the same time, when I look at this older stuff from the 90s, early 2000s, 80s, and before, I'm really like, those are freaking comic books.
They are. I totally agree with that. And AJ, to answer your question, no, I never did get an original on that Trans Am. I've never had anybody, but that might be something if I commission somebody. I just may do that. Matter of fact, you know, I was talking with Greg Bo Watson, and I told him I wanted to get a Phoenix done. Maybe I just talked him into doing something like that.
Oh, look at that. Flip the book. Big shot of Strife. Nice and colorful. Colored, no less, by my good buddy, Brad Venkata.
Oh,
did
yeah.
the coloring.
Oh, yeah.
So
today's comics at Marvel and DC, too many of them, they use the colorist as a crutch. Instead of the colorist just enhancing the black and white artwork,
right,
the colorist is doing half the artwork. And that's my biggest, besides the terrible stories, when it comes to the artwork, that's what bothers me the most, is that.
Well, yeah, and that's a really good point, is when people started going to the style of, if you take out the coloring, it's a coloring book. Yeah. In regards to the black and white line art, that's just the problem. Because, you know, both of us went to the Kubert school, and we were taught that the coloring enhances it, but you shouldn't need it. Yeah. And you can still draw that way. Even with the advanced coloring, you can still draw that way. And, I agree totally. And a lot of the coloring's muddy. And Joe brings up a good point. They draw comics today in 6 heads high style, not dynamic. Not like how drawing dynamic comics teaches you. Thank you, Joe. But he's right. That's another issue I have, is you look at a lot of current artists, and the proportions of the heroes are realistic proportions.
It's because they're tracing photos.
Yeah, well, even if they're not, dude, there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists whose work isn't tracing photos. In fact, I can show you. I keep meaning to do a video on this one piece. I did a screenshot from a comic that came out a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can find it here to show you guys. And I screenshotted it because I'm like, it's just such a boring freaking panel. Let me drag this over to the other screen so I can share it.
When I worked on Green Lantern, the penciler drew Green Lantern like he was like 225 pounds. And I had just worked with Ed Bennis, where Ed Bennis draws Green Lantern like he's, 6'5", 350 pounds. So it's just like, dude, how can this be the same character? This is, I never liked that. I'm like, let's make these guys as, it's Green Lantern, dude. Think about it. It's all willpower. He better be a badass on his own without his ring.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because he always gets surprised, even though he has a magical computer on his finger that should be able to not, should be able to warn his ass. So.
Now, see, this isn't traced from a photo. At least I don't think it is. But it might have been photo referenced. But the point is, it's just boring. I mean, the Falcon is just a normal sized dude, and he's just standing there straight up and down. No posture. Like, he's talking. Look how much shit he's saying. And you can't, one of the things I learned early on in comics was, unless it's supposed to be a hero shot, which this isn't even a hero shot, because a hero shot's hands on hips, strong shot, have the character have some body language because they're talking. There's just no body language here or anything. It's just stiff. It's boring.
It's not dramatic.
Not heroic.
Yeah, everyone, it's all straight up and down.
Yeah, it's drawn well. Don't get me wrong, but it's not exciting at all, And And I'm just like, ugh.
Andy, have you shown this before? Because I remember someone reviewing this. Have you
No.
reviewed? Someone else online in the live stream has reviewed this because, like, the next couple of pages with the truck and stuff, someone else was ripping it apart as just being boring. I don't remember who.
Oh yeah, no, I know. There's that splash page where it's him and Cap running to a truck that's in the background. In the truck is freaking huge. What's up, Jimmy? Besides, it's a boring splash page because the figures are so small. The 18-wheeler in the background is like double the size if it was in real life. And you're just like, what the hell is that?
Can you imagine if Chris Bichello had drawn the same scene, how different it would be?
Oh, yeah, dude. But
it would be fun to look at.
Before we run out of time, let's look at this list that I found of the 20 best covers from the 90s. Now, the problem I have with this list is they don't count down. They start with the number one. So it's like, okay. But X-Men number one.
We already talked about it, so enough said on that one.
It's a great cover.
A great cover.
It's not cropped like the image Dennis found because he doesn't know how to use the internet.
It is amazing, and that was an awesome poster, and it is what it is.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic, phenomenal cover. People have homaged it. Companies, last year, DC put out this Deceased book, and the variant covers for 5 of the issues, they were drawn by another great artist DC has named Dan Mora, who I believe is digital as well, unfortunately, because I'd love to buy one of his originals. And he homaged this cover with DC characters. It was awesome. For 5 issues of the book. Superman 75.
Come on, it's iconic.
It's iconic.
You can't diss it. It was.
I can diss it because it's a boring cover, but I get it. It sold a lot of copies. Maybe that's why they're like, okay.
I mean, it made Good Morning America. What other comic did that?
All right, that's fine.
A lot of stores.
I'm not even a huge Superman fan like you, and I'm defending it.
Now, this one by Kelly Jones. Kelly, as far as I know, I'll have to ask Kelly. He doesn't sell his original art either. So if it's out there, it's either because he decided to part with it or the inker sold it. Kelly inked this. So Kelly might still own this. If he does, I think he's sitting on a 6-figure cover.
That's a great cover.
Yeah. He should put it in up for auction at Heritage sometime soon.
I think this cover would easily go for 6 figures.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Mike Quasar 50 cover would go for 6 cents if I put it in auction. So that's why I'm not selling it.
I'd buy it from you, Andy.
AJ says Beatty inked that cover. I don't think he did. Can you find out? I don't think he did. I think Kelly inked. I know Beatty did a long run inking Kelly Jones on Batman because I shared a studio with him at the time. And little known fact, I inked a page or 2 of Kelly Jones in that Batman run to help out John. No credit, which is fine. I used to own the original art, but I got rid of it. None of today's artists draw dynamic heroes like Neil Adams, John Buscema, John Byrne, George Perez, Jim Starlin, or Andy Smith. You're right, they don't. Did I imagine my name there?
Andy, I love how you add your name in there. I was working in the 90s. I was on.
I know.
Who did he say?
95.
Kelly Jones, and it says Bob LaRose.
Wait. Click on. See if you can enlarge that because it is signed.
That is Kelly Jones.
No, I know that. I mean, if it says below it, if you can maybe. No, John didn't ink that cover. So this is Spawn number 8, I believe, where he homaged himself from the Spider-Man cover.
I got to admit, number 1.
What's that?
It's Spider-Man number 1 homage cover.
I got to admit, as much as cool as the Spawn number 1 cover is, I mean, dude, ripping off your own cover from a Spider-Man, I mean, dude, you can't get better than that.
I never liked Todd's Spawn because I liked his cartoony faces in Amazing Spider-Man. My favorite run on Amazing Spider-Man is my favorite issues of McFarlane ever are like 314, 315, 316, 317.
Oh no,
Of course.
I've got most of the I've got trade paperbacks of Todd's Spider-Man stuff, and I have some of the original ones like Torment, that storyline.
The inks were cleaner, you know. You could tell he didn't give a F by the time Spawn showed up.
Oh yes, John Byrne did.
He was building his toy company.
So here we have. I can agree with this. This was a pretty iconic cover. Nice little lover cover.
No.
Oh come on, this was a good
cover. I wasn't even buying X-Men at this point.
Dude, it was a good cover. My wife actually got a poster of this.
That's right. And then she took a picture of herself and Dennis, cut the heads out, and put them on the individual characters. What was weird is she put Dennis's face on Rogue. That was weird.
I got Jim Lee, man. I got Jim Lee stuff. Why would I want Andy Kubert?
I liked this run.
I did too.
I thought Matt Ryan did a great job inking it, and Mark Pennington did as well. He started off inking this stuff. Because dude, Jim Lee went on to Image, so I got my Jim Lee fix there. And then Andy Kubert was looking at Jim Lee. I mean, I remember going down to Andy's studio in the basement of the Kubert School, and he had Jim Lee photocopies out on his desk. I mean, he wasn't hiding it, and it's probably what they wanted. So
yeah, he's a stud. But he trying to push Jim Lee stuff to the next level. Those weird poses. Everyone's like in these weird half splits and shit. I couldn't. He was trying to be extra dynamic, and I never liked it. It was never my flavor.
Yeah, I mean, some of the poses he definitely took to the, no pun intended, extreme. Yeah. But, and I can see that. Daredevil, I think this made the list just because of the Marvel Knight stuff. I don't hate this cover. I mean, I like it. I'll tell you this. When we were talking about sweet spots for artists, this to me was my sweet spot for Joe Quesada. Now it looks like he's just using poser for his figure work.
So this is the beginning of him using all the reference. So it killed his. I mean, he was never a fast artist. So I think this is the beginning of the end of him actually being a comic book artist. Because this is where he starts using lots of photo reference on backgrounds and all that other stuff. So
yeah, that didn't bother me. His figure work was still stylized out of his head. Whereas, like I said, if you look at his stuff now, it just looks like he's using that program poser for everything.
Thank you, KP. I totally agree with you.
Now,
my favorite Joe stuff is Deathmate. Was it Checkmate? The Valiant Wild.
No, you're talking Deathmate.
No, but Joe didn't draw all of Deathmate.
No, he drew like 10 pages.
Yeah,
Scott Williams inked it, and it was incredible. It was that was his best stuff ever.
Wait, you didn't like the EXO one shot he did?
No, I like some of his Ninjak.
I liked his X Factor stuff,
but I like this cover.
Now this cover definitely. This cover.
This is another one I own multiple copies of. Just love it.
I
used to own a page from this, and I sold.
No shit. Why'd you sell it? Because you were drunk. Because
for like 5 years, what I paid for is what it was worth, and then when I needed money, I had to sell it. And
what page was it? Do you remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the page with it's multiple panels. It's with Wolverine. He's not in costume, and he chops off the old guy's head. So he chops the dude's head off with a sword.
I like Joe's Ash stuff as well. Oh, look at AJ. AJ wants something from me because he's sucking up. Not only do I know he's sucking up, he put my name first. So,
yeah, nobody.
But I tell you this. So going back to Rob's podcast on the 90s real quick, did you catch Rob when he was naming I think it was 1993, he was naming the top selling books. Number 6, I think it was number 6. Maybe it was number 4 or 5. Turok #1, baby, drawn by our pal Bart Sears. Yep, Turok #1 was either the number 4. I think it might have been the number 4, number 5 book in 1993. It sold 1.4 million copies.
Nice. I think that might be an episode I haven't listened to yet. Then, yeah, dude, I remember the covers Bart did for that stuff. That stuff.
Oh yeah, Turok #1, which you can buy cheap. Amazing Spider-Man, nice cover. I tell you what,
See, that's the whole thing. Maximum Carnage, another great storyline in the 90s. Maximum Carnage, what? I think it ran 13. I think it was 13 issues that crossed between the different Spider-Man titles. Yeah.
JP Rucka, oh Dennis, I'm going to the Bears-Packers game in Chicago week 1.
Oh, are you really? Dude, take some pictures. That's going to be awesome.
Take some pictures of the Packers sucking the Bears' dick as they lose. By the way, I heard
this is why we never have a non-rated R channel.
I heard in a preseason game over the weekend, the Packers, I think it was a Packers game, somebody got hurt on the field and they canceled the game.
Well,
what a bunch of pussies.
Holy shit, you got no soul. You are an effing robot.
The dude was out of the hospital the next day. You don't cancel a football game.
You didn't know that? They instantly came out with his stretcher. He wasn't moving. Oh my God. Swipe you up.
It's football. People have got
it was not just a thing. They actually interviewed Belichick and LaFleur, and they both agreed because it was that bad.
Did they cancel the game when Theismann had his leg lying up by his head? No.
Dude, this is preseason. This isn't Monday night.
Let's get back to
comics. My God. You are home wrecker.
There's that football player that dislocated his finger, and he told the guy to just cut it because he had to get back into the game. So he cut off the end of his finger.
That's right. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not from, look at this. AJ had to correct Dennis. That's not Maximum Carnage. That's
I didn't say that was Maximum Carnage, but that was that's what prompted it. That was a great series. We didn't even touch on Maximum Carnage in the 90s.
I am the Skip Bayless of the DNA show because I'm awesome. Dennis is the Stephen R. Smith or whatever of the DNA show.
Dear God, just stop talking now. Oh my God.
Andy, is Alex Ross's painting is better in Kingdom Come, though, right? Because that cover doesn't impress me as much as okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Marvel's was his first big work. Before Marvel's, he did Terminator for Now Comics, I think.
And I have that, or I used to have that, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at Alex Ross's work now, and because he's been doing it for 30 years, I don't see a huge difference from now to like 20 years ago. But if you look at Marvel's The Kingdom Come, and a few things after that, you see the growth big time.
Oh, yeah.
What's this? Let's see. And comic artist, when first seeing this cover, I thought Surfer had a bad case of heartburn. Now, this cover, once again, great cover.
Amazing cover. Amazing.
Amazing. Spectacular.
No, it's amazing. It says amazing totally on the top. That cover sold for $675.
What? Oh, okay.
That original cover sold for like $675,000.
Amish Ninja says it was the Packers and Patriots, and the game was suspended. Right, canceled. Suspended means they came back and played. Cancel means they just pussed out because a player got hurt. No.
Wow. So, you Patriots fandom, this is Andy Smith. You are free to go after him.
Wait, who got hurt, a Packer or a Patriot?
Patriot.
Oh, of course Belichick canceled the game. He's like, we're not winning. Cancel this game.
I can't have injury gate. Oh my God.
I can't have a loss
in another new game. I can't wait for fantasy football season.
I can't have a loss in the preseason.
I don't know this issue.
They were winning, dumbass.
This comic.
Yeah, and he wanted to go out on top. He's like, cancel this game. We won.
It's canceled. Oh my God.
Okay, so I disagree with this cover. Who cares? The Joker's firing some bullets, killing a few bats, whatever.
Not impressed with it.
No,
Rob,
was the issue a big deal? No, I just said I don't even know this book.
No, it wasn't a big deal.
No, so there's nothing about it like story point.
Now, I got to admit, I got to give Sal Buscema love. Didn't he draw like, how many issues of Spider-Man did he draw? Did he do like 100 issues of Spectacular or no?
He might have.
I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will probably know.
His art was always kind of ugly, so I never bought it.
Well, I mean, this was before. I always liked Sal. He definitely, when they had Bill Sienkiewicz Inc., the few issues.
Yes, it was.
What was the gimmick cover?
It was the foil cover, and it got us to buy it, and you spent more money on it.
Well, it's issue 200. It is. It's a
milestone.
When Bill Sienkiewicz was inking Sal, the stuff looked fantastic. I do like Sal's own inks on himself from a nostalgia standpoint, because to me, I grew up reading The Hulk by Sal and loved it. This cover I really do love because of the mixed media standpoint, as in, I think it was the Hildebrandt brothers that painted the Wolverine. And then, of course, Adam did the pencils and inks on.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Because it's a wraparound cover.
Is that Wolverine in the background, or is that like Cyber?
No, that's, I think that's Wolverine, because the backside of the cover is Sabretooth. Can you find the full wraparound, maybe?
Okay, I can kind of see the other part of his mask.
What issue? Oh, wait, it probably, hold on, let me scroll up. I'm sure it says. It's issue 90.
Yeah,
I still own
see Sabretooth's
I still own this
hair.
book. Yeah.
You can see his hair too. So yeah, that's a pretty cool cover. I know that I've seen that multiple places around.
Oh, I've got that still. Oh, look, another Andy Kubert cover, inked by Mark Pennington this time. Love it.
I might actually have this issue. I don't know.
Oh, I have all these still from when they came out.
I bought a few Andy Kubert X-Men's only because Andy would go into the store, because I was at the Kubert school in '92, and he'd go down to the store and he would sign all the copies. So I'd buy it just because he signed it.
Now, you know why this cover made it? Besides the fact it's by J.R.J.R., little known fact, this cover also made it because they're like, hey, that Andy Smith guy drew something in this book, so we got to have it on there. I did a backup story in this book starring little Peter Parker when he was a kid.
Did you ever get a royalty check off of it because it's the #1?
Probably, yeah. There's the full cover.
Oh, okay. Yep. Now it looks familiar.
Dude, yeah, look at the cartooning on that by Adam Kubert. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Because
that's a fun cover.
And that is what I've always wanted. Because I painted, but not a lot. I've always wanted somebody like Alex Ross, the Hildebrandts, to paint over something I drew, because they keep your style. You know, Alex Ross did the variant cover painting over Superman vs. Savage Dragon over Eric Larson, and it's Alex Ross's painting technique over Eric Larson's drawing, and it's just cool.
He did that with Jim Lee, and I wasn't impressed at all. I didn't like it.
I liked it. I thought it was cool. But anyhow, so yeah, if you're wondering, if you're an Andy Smith completist like Dennis is, you should go out and get this book, because I have a backup story in it.
I've never seen that comic before, that Spider-Man.
You son of a bitch.
I have seen this book before.
Oh, yeah. Hal Jordan going nuts, killing the Green Lantern Corps. We got to buzz through these. Yeah, pretty much. All right, we got to buzz through the last of these because time's crunching. I got to be honest, not a big fan of this cover. Maybe because it's issue 75 they chose it.
Yeah, it's a bad cover.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yellow Flash, what is up? I love all these books, but boy, oh boy, are they worthless. All the 90 books are You are correct. You are correct, Yellow Flash. Yellow, we got to have you on the channel one day so we can talk comics.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there were some, there were some books that were worth money. Preacher #1, that was worth something. Vengeance of Bane. There were some X-Men like 266, Batman, Adventures 12, first Harley Quinn, Spawn, not so much, but just because they did print them a lot. But there were some books.
Most of those books help guys buy their houses. That's what they remember about those books.
Oh yeah. Now this cover, I was going to say, back with that originally Bagley cover of Carnage and Spider-Man, Bagley was another guy who got crap for his art. And once again, you look at it and it's dynamic and it just pops out at you. It's fun.
this cover sucks.
No, I'm not saying this cover. I'm saying Bagley's art in general.
Oh
Spider-Man.
he is really, really good at doing action scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
His
I mean,
quiet scenes.
I don't think this cover sucks because he's doing a homage to
Oh, well,
a John Romita Senior cover.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I think. Okay. Well, I mean, it's.
Hey,
it's
well, Rob says
it is kind of iconic, but
it's just kind of boring.
Bagley got a bad rap sometimes.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, he's gotten a bad rap.
First Cable
for being a utility artist.
Yep. First Cable.
Gotta love that.
Homage covers should be banned. I could see that.
No,
but
I'm gonna do homage covers.
About it.
Yellow Flash. I think. You're talking about the Spider-Man?
He's
cover.
talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he posted it during Spidey.
Yeah, I think I don't mind that Spider-Man cover because it would make me. I don't own it, but it would make me want to buy the original by John Romita as well, and maybe frame them side by side. So, but New Mutants '87, First Cable.
Oh yeah. You know, inks over Rob Liefeld.
Great book. Love the book.
Fun looking cover. I love Rob's like going back to Liefeld again. He was listening to his podcast when he talks about creating all these characters, and the thought that he put into them was just awesome. With Cable, he was totally thinking $6 Million Man. He said he remembers an interview by the actor that played Oscar Goldman, who saying 6 Million Man was all about macho. Yeah. And Rob's like, I just remember him saying it's about macho and going, that's what I want to do.
That's
but
awesome.
You know what else is macho? I'll tell you. This is macho.
Oh.
Macho, right? Death Raider. This is a macho book. Rob, tell us a little bit about Death Raider. You got like 2 minutes because I gotta pimp Kor-Drath. So
okay, Marsak Marine, his team gets ambushed, his team gets killed, he loses his legs.
Nope.
Circumstances of the ambush, he ends up with alien technology in his brain, and because of that, he's able to build out the Death Raider armor to exact revenge for his fallen teammates and to fight off a alien infiltration of Earth. So
guys, go back, Death Raider. You're at it's hard for me to see. What's that? 18.7,
16. Almost to 19K. We're so close.
Screw that. We're thinking forward to 20K. 20K is not that far away. Mm. I'm serious. Yes, Rob is a good friend of mine I've known for a long time. Yes, his $20 check cleared, so I'm saying this. This is a great book. This is a great book that you've got to back.
It is. It looks awesome. Rob, I can't tell you how much I can't wait for this.
Oh, thank you.
Why aren't you offering a gray tone version in hard copy, AJ?
I am. It's called the Midnight Book. It's the one with
the no so
cover.
There, AJ.
Scroll down. Scroll down and show it then real fast under the tiers.
Oh, I do that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's your screen, dummy, not mine. I can't take over your computer.
I'm sorry.
What am I, some guy from India that just asked for control of your computer? No.
And I just say, well, sure. Just stay away from the porn. It's this one.
Death Raider is RoboCop on steroids. You know, Joe, that's actually true. Death Raider is RoboCop on steroids because when you take steroids, you have no balls. Like Death Raider.
Oh. Well, no one realizes I created RoboCop, so that's
no, AJ. There is no black and all the gray tones. See, AJ doesn't know that all the gray tones are Copic. It's not digital, so there is no black and white.
Oh, is that his question? Is that what he's asking?
He said I thought that was the black and white without the gray tones, and I'm saying, well, their original art is all gray toned, right?
Yeah. The originals, it's yeah, in fact, it's I print out the light pencils. I do all the marker like it's almost like I'm doing an underpainting. And then I go in with all the obviously I had to do some pencils before that, but then I drop in some more pencils on the marker and then it's inks. So their originals are black, white.
Gorgeous. So buy an original.
Oh, you can't. I just pulled those down last night.
You cannot buy an original.
No, well, you can email me and we can have a conversation. But
that's right.
It's not part of the. It's not part of the perks anymore. I told people. I gave everybody 2 weeks notice. So
I hear he loses his testicles.
He does not.
When you get blown up to like right below your navel, are his balls by his navel? I don't understand his anatomy. I'm just saying.
Okay, the actual explosion part in the book is top secret, and I will not talk about it. But in the hospital, the pages you actually can see in the updates, you can see he's missing his legs from his knees down.
Okay, because they say even Colonel Steve Austin got to keep the manliness.
That's right. Look at that. AJ's going to back it again. He's going to back the midnight one.
That's fantastic. Yep, because that will be black, white, and gray.
There you go. Also, Kor-Drath the Reckoning, guys, $85,605. Randy's in the chat. I know he'll post the actual total, which is over $90,000.
Oh, so
guys,
sweet.
We are cruising to six figures, young lady. Let's do it. We'll get that stretch goal where everybody gets an 80-page book instead of 76 with gorgeous art, 4-page story featuring Lilineth by Bud Root, who is hard at work on it now. If I could just convince him to draw 1 page at a time instead of working on multiple pages at the same time, I could post finished art. Kor-Drath is at $90,276. That's right, guys. We're only $9,734. Wait, I did it wrong. $24 away.
Whoa! Actual math.
Fantastic.
He didn't use his toes this time.
I didn't
Congrats.
because Dennis thinks my toes are ugly, so I won't show them.
And I actually restructured my stretch goals for everybody. So there's already a extra trading cards that will be shipping to everybody.
When you hit 20 or
no, like right now, like I restructured them so that there's an extra trading card at 17 or 16. I just wrote them last night, but I gave it new stretch goals. So
Aggregate, when's the estimated shipping date? If you're talking about Kor-Drath, it is November, but hopefully before that. So there you go, guys. Check it out. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel because if you're watching this, you've probably already backed it. If you haven't, get on it now.
But share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends.
Back the D&D module, the role-playing module.
That's right.
Back the game, back the book. Guys, we are nearing the finish line, but we got a little ways to go. So keep it up. Let's hit that 6 figures because we want to see the first time Bud Root has done consecutive sequentials in like a decade. So we want to see that happen.
That's right. Awesome. Guys, we'll be back on Friday with a movie review of, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Blue Beetle.
Dude.
Going Thursday night.
There's nothing else that came out, so we were forced to pick. It was Blue Beetle or Barbie, and we're going with Blue Beetle. DC, don't let us down.
That's right.
I read a review that the action scenes are kind of cool.
Well, we'll let you know Friday. We'll be back next Wednesday, probably have a guest. Until then, I got to go pick up my kid. Rob, thank you for joining the show. As always,
great chatting, Rob.
It's been a pleasure. And a little behind the scenes baseball. Usually we hang out and chat after the stream is over. I can't do it. So, Rob, if you want to take off, you can take off. We're out of here. Catch you guys later. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.